Good Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It is September 5 here in the United States. I'm very, very sorry. There was a lull again in our YouTube channel, but we are going to make it up, ladies and gentlemen. And I promise you, you will be extremely ecstatic with the news developments. This is Gavin Batista, your host at the Prosperity Channel, currently in Oklahoma City, and in a couple of weeks or more, we will be in Houston, Texas. I am shocked as to why all of a sudden the trending for the current administration in the Philippines has gone awry again. I was all set to focus on the United States of America because we are about to have the largest gross national product, gross domestic product in certain states in the United States history. And all of a sudden, I get a call from Manila, and I get so many text, emails, what have you, from my various computers, because as you know, my computer here is always hacked despite being a Lenovo computer. So I am shocked as to why all of a sudden the Dpwh secretary, Bonoan, I thought he was related with a batchmate of mine, Mr. June Bonoan, very smart guy. And in fact, I think one of his uncles happened to be a Jesuit, a very honorable Jesuit from the Ateneo de Manila by the name of Derps Bonoan, Father Derps Bonoan. I'm really shocked. That's why I am doing this special program. Why is it that up to now there is flood in Manila except at the BGC? And the answer is very clear. The budget given to then Secretary Babes, the great Babes Hizon, was able to solve that problem already in 2021. Wala nang baha dyan sa Metro Manila because of the pumping stations. And then all of a sudden, we have this massive floods that have destroyed more than, I think, 100,000 families are dislocated again because of the massive floods in Metro Manila. And this has been going on since the time of Magsaysay, all the way to the time of President Cory Aquino, President Marcos Sr., President Estrada, President Ramos, President Duterte, and now back to President Bongbong Marcos Jr. And I must say that the President is doing excellently right now by changing the guard immediately with Secretary, the new Dpwh Secretary, the great Vivencio Vince Hizon, the pride of the De La Salle Green Archers. I'm very confident he's going to make bold moves immediately to address this issue. And if I may say, Secretary Hizon, I am at your beck and call. I can collaborate with you, combine with the best flood engineers in the world. Not only in the United States, but in Germany, in the Netherlands, and even in Japan, to come out with a immediate plan to address this first thing tomorrow morning. And I can tell you, with at least 40 pumping stations, that's my estimate, the Metro Manila floods will be stopped overnight. 40. Okay, that will be in the areas of Pasig, in the areas of Quezon City, which I was born. Alam nyo, yung baha dyan sa Banawe, oh my God, it is so bad, you know. And the floods in Manila, in Pasay, is so terrible. Manila, they are bleeding to death there because of Taft Avenue, which, by the way, is where the headquarters of De La Salle University is. That whole Taft Avenue flooding will be gone because of the new modern pumping stations that can be installed immediately. Immediately, as I would like to say, ASAP. So Secretary Hizon, I'm sorry, you very well know my uncle, the Harvard superstar, creator of De La Salle Green Hills, De La Salle Lipa, De La Salle Bacolod, and the list goes on. He offered his life to De La Salle. And in his memoriam, I can combine with you tomorrow morning and plan the immediate installation of these 40 pumping stations all over Metro Manila and make the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. one of the best, if not the best, presidencies ever. Why? Because for the last 6-7 decades, flooding has been always the #1 cause of economic disturbance resulting to endless economic recession. And it's very sad that up to now, I don't know where that name came from. What is it? Sarah Discaya. I never met. You know, I lived in the Philippines for about 40 years, and I never met a Discaya all my life. You know, Vizcaya is Nueva Vizcaya in Cagayan, right? Cagayan Valley. But Discaya, you know, I don't want to mention certain contractors in the Philippines because they might accuse me again of being biased. But there are so many good contractors in Manila that can fix this problem first thing tomorrow morning. So I congratulate you, Secretary Vince Dizon, for your appointment as DPWH. And as I said, I am at your beck and call. You can Viber me at my US cell phone at 405-503-8511, and I can guarantee you I will combine the best flood experts in the Netherlands, in the United States, in Tokyo, Japan, to address this flooding, at least in Metro Manila. By the end of the year, there will be no more flooding. We will install the 40 pumping stations 24/7. And the flooding in Metro Manila will cease. It will be gone. And it is very sad to my Filipino connections here that, you know, certain journalists like me are being accused of doing this and that. In fact, there was a white lady that got shocked as to how good I am versus the other white people here who are practically blocking me to air out this news content, which is definitely very, very progressive as against their traditional way. What am I trying to say? They are giving me this insinuations that I am getting paid to tell certain misaligned facts. No, I'm not for sale. You know, my journalistic flavor is not for sale. My opinion is based on the facts, and the facts are very clear. I do not tell lies on the air, okay? I met this journalist, TV journalist by the name of Julius Babaw when I was with San Miguel Corporation in I believe 1987, 1988 at my favorite beach club, the Montemar Beach Club. And I made a very controversial action there that today is probably the greatest action ever taken as an initiative in the history of San Miguel Foods Division right now. With my own money, I invited my guests in Bulacan to transfer their loyalty, their brand loyalty, from Vitarich to Bmeng. I was accused of so many bad things. Very, very bad. I will not say it on the air. But the bottom line is they maligned me to the hilt. And with my own money, ladies and gentlemen, okay, out of the budget, I spent my own money in order to convert the loyalty of Bulacan and other areas all over Luzon to use BMEG Feed San Miguel Corporation. BMEG stands for Basilicus megatherium, which we get from the bagasse nutrient contents coming from the production of San Miguel beer, which, my opinion, up to now is the best tasting beer in the world. At ang sabi nga namin mga Pilipinong Tagalog na mataas ang uri, it has that magandang tama. What does that mean in the American vernacular? It has that feel that it makes you tipsy, but not tipsy at all. That's why I would like to encourage all those drinkers out there in the world to taste San Miguel beer, because it gives you that tipsy, but not that tipsy feeling. I'm giving that as a free advertising to San Miguel, despite they're not advertising with me at this point in time. But going back to what they call right now is Julius 10 million Babaw, 10 million pesos is, I think, what the Discayas gave to him as a talent fee. But Julius, we are inviting you to make, Julius, we are inviting you to make a statement here at the Prosperity Channel to clear your good name. Because I know the Babaws are one of the loyalists of San Miguel Corporation and other famous brands like Coca-Cola back in the Philippines. So, Julius Babaw, if you are listening to me right now, you can call me up on my Viber number to clarify all these issues about, if I may say, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it correctly, Discaya issue, you know. Julius 10 million Babaw, ang tawag dito ngayon kay Julius Babaw. So, you can Viber me. My US cell phone number is on Viber at 405-503-8511. Now, proceeding immediately to the very, very bad publicity the Philippines, as usual, is getting, this problem can be turned overnight. How to do that is very clear. Secretary Hizon must have that open budget right now to construct the 40 pumping stations in less than 6 months. To construct the 40 pumping stations in less than 6 months. Because I do not believe that it is a question of low budget. It is a question of right budgets. It is a question of hiring people with big salaries so that they will not be tempted to steal. Hiring people that are graduates from Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, and we have them in the Philippines. Kasi kung ang i-hire mo yung mga katulad ni Henry, ano pa ito, Alcantara daw. I don't know kung related kay George Alcantara o Ila Alcantara. Okay? But he robbed, oh my God, the Dpwh, he wiped out the funds at about 100 million pesos. That is huge for a clerk. Huge. 100 million pesos, that's divided by 55 to 58 to a dollar. That's it. Yun ang ninakaw, yun talagang, oh my God, I don't have the right term for it, but it's really outright stealing. Talagang lantara na nilagay, kinuha yung pera at nilagay niya sa kanyang bangko o mga bangko. Ito po ay si Henry Alcantara of the Dpwh. What a tragedy. What a terrible news. And therefore, again, I'd like to tell the good secretary that we can do a performance audit all over the Dpwh overnight. And we can already determine, I guarantee you, what will be the next fiasco o kung sino naman ang magnanakaw dyan. Who will be the one to steal again? And it is very sad that the Discayas even had to stab in the back First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos with her project on that building of, I think it's a film academy or something. Pati si Liza Araneta, First Lady Liza Araneta, ipinatulak pa. Pag talagang hindi ka pa naman talagang magwawala dito sa isyong ito. But again, I don't know what they're going to say, but kung yung mga Discaya, to Curlee yata and Sarah Discaya, Vince Hizon is very professional, Be frank with him. Ito po ang allegations na ninakaw daw namin according to the press. Put it, in writing and give it back. Ibalik mo ang pera para magawa nga yung dapat mong ginawang mga floodways or pathways, which is very popular in Orange County, by the way, in Irvine, California. The flood pathways, which is all cemented, is so crucial in making sure that the floods will not stay in the given streets. So I would like to congratulate President Marcos to hire more people like Vince Hizon, which in my opinion, Mr. President, this should have been done as early as last year. Because of monthly performance audits, you can already detect what disasters are going to happen again, not only in the Dpwh, but more so in other government departments. So, moving forward, this can become a pivot point to a big success before the end of the year. And therefore, by next year, and when your term ends, Mr. President, at least it will be safe to say that your presidency will be one of the greatest of all time. If you can address flooding, you can therefore address traffic. If the traffic issues will stop, finally, which again, as I've told you so many times, I have the plans. It can be done. The economy will boom. The expats like me will fly again to Manila because we are so afraid, to be honest about it, to land in Metro Manila because of the traffic, to land in Cebu because of the traffic, to land in other parts of the Philippines because of the traffic. Solving the traffic problem with the support of the new Dpwh Secretary, Vince Hizon, the traffic problems will finally be gone. And when the traffic is gone, the economy will trend towards a boom era similar to the 1950s. As you know, we never had a boom era again in the Philippines. There was a good start during the time of President Cory Aquino, but obviously the central bank governor of the president could not sustain it. There was a time in the first 2 years of the presidency of Fidel Ramos, the economy was about to boom. But again, it could not. Why? Because we did not have the infrastructure to export Philippine products. Up to now, the only product I see here in America are the, would you believe, the Mango 77 in Cebu City, and some computer chips made by the Ayala Group. And by the way, the Ayala Group is here right now in Oklahoma City, in Greater OKC. OKC. Lance Gokongwei is here in Greater Oklahoma City. The group of Ramon Ang is here. The group of Henry C. is here in Oklahoma City. You know why? Because of me. That's why. Part of the braggadocio, but those are the facts. I am willing to assist the good secretary, Vince Hizon, to solve the flooding problems in Metro Manila, in other provinces overnight. Overnight. Because with the right budget and the right engineering genius, it can be done overnight. And so many Filipinos, the estimate is about 60 million suffer every year because of the floods. 60 million Filipinos suffer. They lose their houses, they get low-paying jobs, they suffer on traffic, they die because of the after effects of the flooding, because of the bad water and bacteria, etc. Namamatay. And it is a tragedy experienced every single year. And therefore, it is in your hands, Mr. President, President Bongbong Marcos, to solve the flooding issue while Vince Hizon is still there. And at the same time, Mr. President, we can fast-track the performance audits on all branches of government to determine what will be the next fiasco. And again, there is a technology in doing that, and it can be determined in the next 6 months. And therefore, the presidency, the upcoming 2028 presidential elections is really out there in the open, because Senator Go is being associated by the press regarding the money, the billions of dollars that were taken by the Discayas, which in a way is related with the company of Senator Bongo. So, Senator, again, I'd like to invite you, or you could give us a call at our Viber number, 405-503-8511, to make your statement regarding the billions of dollars made by the Discaya family, which is associated with your company in Mindanao. And therefore, it is very clear that the Duterte administration should have solved all of these problems. And therefore, they're asking me, who would be then the next president of the Philippines? I said, I don't know. But definitely, the good name of the vice president has been completely, totally tarnished. Why? Because the flooding could have stopped since the time of President Digong, if I may say, Rodrigo Digong Duterte. But it did not. In fact, it even exacerbated. Lalo pang naging grabe. So, everybody's at a loss, you know, here in America, because all we see are always problems in the Philippines. The only good news is when this tennis talent that we have by the name of Iyala wins a tennis match here and there. And that's about it. That's the only good news in the Philippines. And the rest, as usual, is all about the sick man of Asia News. When will this stop? It's your call, Mr. President. Mr. President, my number, my Viber number, if you need my assistance on performance audits for every single department, we will determine what will be the next issue or disaster. It's 405-503-8511. And I'd like to end my video for today by remembering what happened to me when I was a kid at the Ateneo de Manila University. That was in the 1960s. And during that time, my father, Attorney Andres Bautista Sr., was part of the cabinet or part of the government entity of then Diosdado Macapagal. And I was accused by some of my classmates saying that hindi makakain yung putang inang integridad mo. They really maligned my father and myself and said that you cannot eat that son of a gun integrity of yours. Hindi makakain yung putang inang integridad mo. And that up to now, we're already in 2025, is still the battle cry of this corrupt Filipino officials. Hindi makakain ang hustisya. Hindi makakain ang pagiging magaling na serbisyo para sa gobyerno. Hindi makakain ang galing. Ang importante ay kumuha ng pera habang nandiyan ka sa poder. If I may translate that in the American vernacular, you cannot eat integrity. You cannot eat honesty. So what about your honesty? What is important is I steal all the money while I'm still in public office, so I can feed my family with dirty money. And that's precisely what's happening in the Philippines up to this time. My father was offered, I think, 6 Mercedes-Benz parked in our house in P. Florentino. That is in Quezon City. 6 Mercedes-Benz. He was offered so much money. He was offered everything you can imagine. And I remember him saying that, no thank you. Just give me a nice gift. And I think he was given a case of Johnny Walker whiskey from London. That's it. He refused millions and millions of dollars in terms of pesos during that time. 6 Mercedes-Benz, endless bribes, just to give them the loan at the right interest rate, just to give them special treatment. He refused them all. And the sad story, the very, very sad story, is even my own brother right now, who was accused of stealing $1 billion, is now down to $1 million. And now people are apologizing to him. That is the great Comelec chairman, Juan Andres Bautista. Because the reason why he had to leave the Philippines is not because he stole money, but because of family issues. He did not want his, I think, 4 boys, he didn't want to destroy their lives. And it is very clear that the reason why his wife blurted out the 1 billion and this billion, next billion, was because of Alvin Lim. Hindi nabigyan. Kaya nagalit, bumira. So that's why, you know, I was being asked here by so many white guys, what's happening in the Philippines? Well, in the Philippines, it's the opposite. They frown on talent. They ridicule intelligence. They malign people who are straight when it comes to money. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to end this particular video YouTube channel. I'll see you soon. Good evening in the Philippines, and to all my millions of fans in the Philippines. I have been invited by so many Filipinos to speak in their behalf in various speaking engagements. Just subscribe at this channel, and yeah, let's discuss about it, and I might agree on what venues we can have this public speeches done to save the sick man of Asia. Good evening, good afternoon to my Filipino kababayans in California, in Texas, in New York, in Hawaii, and see you soon.